Welcome to the Friday, July 2nd, 2021 video version of the Wagner Daily. My name is Rick Petticelli, and as usual, this video replaces the written commentary portion of our nightly report. Hopefully it serves as a nice change of pace, as well as offers some insight as to how we set up our charts, what time frames and indicators we use. And as you can see, we try to keep it pretty simple in terms of what we look at. We have a 10 and 20 day EMA, 50 and 200 SMA. We also have a relative strength line that we use, then volume, and of course a moving average on volume. As usual, we're going to run through a few broad market averages, then cover some open positions in the model portfolio, and then we'll take a look at what's out there in terms of actionable setups after Thursday's pullback that was mostly limited to growth stocks. The S&P 500 rallied 0.5% higher, continues its impressive run after undercutting the 50-day moving average. The Nasdaq Composite reversed off the lows of the session, but we wouldn't mind seeing a bit more chop here to allow the rising 10 EMA to catch up. And IWP, which is the Russell Mid-Cap Growth ETF, sort of like the Nasdaq, in pullback mode here with a nice reversal off the day's low. And this is looking like a normal pullback in a strong uptrend. And FFTY is the IBD 50 ETF, and that was down significantly more than IWP, down 1.6% back to the 50 MA. So overall, we're still in a pretty strong bull market, and growth is looking at a slight pause. And so obviously some growth stocks were hit harder the past few days than others, but for the most part, growth has held up pretty well. The week isn't over yet, so we'll have to see what happens on Friday and over the next few days, but we still like what we see overall. On to the open positions watch list. There are a few stop outs. On Thursday there was SE, which we closed out beneath Wednesday's low, followed through a bit more to the downside on Thursday. We're still going to watch this chart here, as this could be a higher handle forming up here, and we want to see the price action maybe chop around for a day or two and then attempt to break this downtrend line. We also stopped out of ZS due to the close below the 10-day EMA and then further selling. That could potentially be in play if it can hold up around the 20. We stopped out a half of crowd. Still have a stop at another half below the low of 622. Pretty decent reversal though off the 10-day MA. And we stopped out a CDNA full position, but it did close off the lows of the session, which means that it could be back in play tomorrow over today's high with a 3% stop or so. We're still long Nvidia, which refuses to pull back in, just a very strong stock. FRHC, another breakout on 630, held above the prior day's close on Thursday, so if the price action can stay above the low of 630, we'll remain long. We'd like it to hold above the Thursday's low. LSPD, we're long from an earlier entry closer to 76. Nice reversal off the 10-day MA. CRWD we covered. INMD broke out to new highs a few weeks ago, but never really extended from the pivot. Kind of just wedged itself higher. Has pulled back over the past few days. Though continues to close above the 10-day EMA, a break of this 2-day low would probably lead to lower prices in the short term. A move above the 2-day high could spark the next wave up. And SHOP still looks pretty good. It just has to get going. A really nice consolidation. Volumes dried up while the price action chops around and allowed the 10-day EMA to catch up. It's just got to punch through this downtrend line, take out the prior day's high. And the last open position is NET, which broke its uptrend line, well, a steep uptrend line few days ago. Here's the trend line with a 1, close to 2, 3, 4, 5 touches really. So it closed below this uptrend line on 6:30 and then broke the 2-day low on Thursday, where we sold half the position, and we have a stop on the remaining half position beneath the 625 low. And our thinking here is that since this was a pretty steep advance, we'd like to see net chop around for a few weeks, possibly touch 20-day EMA. But for now, it remains above the 10-day moving average, yet to break it, really yet to even pierce through the moving average. And this is day 29 of closing above the 10 EMA. As for potential setups over the next few days, a bigger cap name, Amazon, continues to hold above the 20. If it can break through this downtrend line, next week it could be in play. This is a bit of a slower mover though, so for those of you who run maybe a 4 or 5 stock portfolio, this might not be the setup you want to take. If you take on 10 to 15 positions or more, maybe it's worthwhile. The weekly chart is looking pretty good too here, a little nice cup with handle. And for those who are not long shop, just a nice pullback to the 10-day MA, just below the prior high, a break of this downtrend line and the prior day's high would serve as the buy entry. BNTX is a pretty tight consolidation here at the 20-day EMA. The entry would be over this downtrend line and the prior day's high. APPS, which is more of a swing trade, as it's close to 30% off its highs. It is trying to break a downtrend line, but we like the sharp move off the lows here, about a 22% move. And a pullback to the rising 10 EMA. If we can hold this area, look for the price action to push higher and have another wave up, potentially into this 94, 95 area. And TMDX, which is a strong mover off the lows here with a 26% move over the past 10 sessions. Price action is pulled back and now it's formed an inside day. Look for a move above the 2-bar high as an entry. And the final setup of the night is a pullback entry and Bill, which stalled just below the prior high after a pretty nice move through resistance at 165. Thursday's low dipped below the 10-day EMA and took out about 6 bars worth of lows. So we'll see if the price action can recover and push back through the 10-day EMA and break this downtrend line. And in something like this, we can look to put on maybe partial size on a downtrend line break or maybe over 185, and then look to add on strength and then add on a breakout to new highs, provided that market conditions remain bullish. So just a quick recap, the S&P continues to push higher. The NASDAQ Composite and Russell Midcap Growth are in chop mode right now with short-term pullback mode and a strong uptrend. And as long as the price action remains tight overall, we should continue to see new setups develop over the next week or two in growth stocks. And just a reminder that U.S. markets are closed on Monday for July 4th. Thanks for joining me. Have a happy and safe holiday weekend, and we'll see you next week.